Greetings everyone, welcome to Pony Panels. Now, this review is more or less a comic review for the newest Friends Forever comic. But this comic is integral of a bigger problem. More or less that I, at least in my opinion, believe that even after 6 seasons and 144 episodes, with more to come, AppleJack is the only one-dimensional character left in the main 6. And this comic is undeniable proof that it might as well be a foregone conclusion. Let me explain why. All of AppleJack's greater problems throughout the series, and even throughout the comics that are nearing 100 if you add them all together, have always been systemic of either stubbornness or pride or a combination of the two. Whether it be pride in your work or stubbornness towards an idea or an unwillingness to change or to admit wrongdoing, AppleJack's biggest kryptonite throughout the history of the series has always been pride. So, it's kind of funny in Friends Forever 33 that pride is the main moral of the story, and essential let bygones be bygones deal. Why? Because in this comic, she is paired up with Cherry Jubilee, also known from Party Pooped, and most notably her appearance in the last roundup, which this comic does make out-and-out reference to near the end of it. See, there's a pony flu going around, and the cherry farm needs a hand, so AppleJack is in Dodge Canyon to figure it out. But when another traveling entertainment caravan, led by a pony named Buffalo Bill and Calamity Mane, show up on the premises, Cherry Jubilee is not too happy about it. See, she's got beef with Buffalo Bill, and it's not going over well. And yes, if these names Buffalo Bill and Calamity Mane sound familiar, they're outright references to the old Western characters of Calamity Jane and, of course, Buffalo Bill. At the outset, both of these characters seem well enough. They're kind-natured and just want to rest for the night. But Cherry Jubilee is having none of it. And, as though to treat my beloved Twilight like Jesus, AppleJack asked the simple question of, what would Twilight do? She responds by going to Twilight's native habitat, a library. And yes, might I add a note, the art for this comic is well done and the background illustrations are well drawn. So well drawn that you can see a poster of Twilight with the word read on one of the many shelves in the comic. It's a funny yet appropriate nod to some fan work and some fan meme. But I digress. Upon doing research, she discovers the truth about Calamity Mane, that Cherry Jubilee isn't the pony we thought she once was. You see, she's the first Calamity Mane. And along with Buffalo Bill, they had a very successful traveling show. But after a show in Dodge Canyon, after Cherry Jubilee admitted she was homesick for not being around cherry blossoms or anything cherry related, Buffalo Bill acts like a douche and just abandons her in Dodge Canyon, which is good for Cherry Jubilee, I guess. She found her life's calling and a comfortable life. But then Buffalo Bill does the other thing you don't do in a relationship once you've dumped a business partner, or as the comic implies, even a little further, you go find another Calamity Main. Yep, that's what the second Calamity Main is for. And she is ticked. Well, the first one is. Not only for being left at the entertainment altar, but also having this replacement chick taking her name up. And she's prideful and stubborn about it. Real stubborn about it. But when Applejack and her have a nice talking about it to let bygones be bygones and set pride aside for the good of the act, the two old friends rekindle their friendship and have one last performance together, which is a rather sweet ending to this comic book. But it just highlights the fact that Applejack is one-dimensional and stereotypical. Of course she would be in another modern take on old Western stories. Of course she would be the one to resolve it with her old Southern values and ways. And of course it would be about pride and stubbornness. Go back through the entire history of all of Applejack's main episodes through the TV show, and even those in the comics in which she has been highlighted. It's always been about her stubborn, prideful nature and putting it aside for either somebody else's understanding of a situation, or for her own enjoyment, or for somebody else's enjoyment. Every one of her moral cues falls under this latency. And at this point in this franchise's lifespan, it's unacceptable. Rainbow Dash has mostly pride-driven problems and morals, but even she has grown out of the prideful, stubborn, egotistical stage that she was once stereotyped in 6 seasons ago. Applejack, on the other hand, hasn't gone through any kind of character evolution or break. Whether it's based on the writer's fear of breaking the stereotype, that way Applejack isn't Applejack anymore, or whether they can't find a clever way to write around the stereotype and start growing dimensions to the character. Applejack is at her best when she's in situations like this, as the comic would once again prove. But it also shows that she hasn't really grown as a character, and the stark refusal, unlike the other members of the Harmony Six, to ever go through a big growth spurt change in personality, or even having a want and a dream, is starting to become problematic for this character. She is, as some members of the fandom have said at this point, a glorified sub-pony. And especially for a series about to go deeply into uncharted territory, this is unacceptable. Although she is put with an equally understanding and standing sub-pony, and the reason for Cherry Jubilee's anger is justified to a point. It only shows that number one sub pony is only better when she's helping other sub ponies. She's about to lose her card into the main character club, unless something can be done. Although the comic is a fun and enjoyable read, it goes down roads we've been with AppleJack before, too many of them, and it's starting to become agonizing. That's why Friends Forever 33 only gets a 3 out of 6. Funny Western references, a nice moral, and some character depth for Cherry Jubilee makes this comic readable. Plus, the continuity with the last roundup is a nice touch. But AppleJack being AppleJack is just not acceptable anymore. Where are the dimensions? Because Lord knows we need to see them. Find peace in your own nirvana. If you like what you hear, make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell right next to the subscribe button to get your updates for Code Equestria and any other content that we might do. And feel free to reach me here in the comments section or in many of my other social networks. I do respond to any comment given, so don't be afraid to write something down. I'm not like most people. Until next time.